Gardner in trouble again, going down again. Shilique Calhoun again. Calhoun is having a career in the first quarter.
Well, again, this Michigan State defense is for real.
You take a look at the numbers for Shilique Calhoun. Not only those 3 defensive touchdowns, the most in the Big Ten, they are also the most in the nation. Calhoun, one of the major factors in the Spartans' amazing defensive success. They lead the country in rushing D, pass efficiency D, and scoring D. As we continue here on BTN Live, Dave Revsine, Chuck Long, and Gerry DiNardo. And we are joined now from our studio in East Lansing by Shilique Calhoun. Shilique, I've had a lot of people ask me what makes this Michigan State defense so good, and I'm going to put that back on you. Is it players? Is it scheme? Is it practice habits, work ethic? What is it? Why are you guys so successful?
I would say it's all of the above. I mean, the biggest thing is we try to band together and get to a common goal. Try to reach our goals together. We don't try to play as individuals. We try to play as a unit. And the biggest thing is we believe in each other. We don't be misled by plays that we don't make, or sometimes when we mess up, we still believe and we have faith that we're going to make the next play.
Shilique, take us inside the locker room, inside the defensive meeting room, inside the halftime. Tell us about Coach Pat Narduzzi. What's he like? How would you describe him?
I mean, the best word to describe him is, he's a firecracker. He's very explosive. I mean, he's full of a lot of emotion, and he's passionate about the game. He's passionate about his players. The biggest thing is, he wants us to be successful, and he tries to put us in, the right place to be successful. And he never takes a play off. He never lets us slack in practice. He's always on us. And even with the ranking of number 1 for some of these categories, that other teams are ranked below us, he still wants us to be better. He's always pushing us to be better. Number 1 is not good enough. He wants us to be so good that maybe they call us an NFL defense. That's as good as he wants us to be. And even then, I feel like he'll still keep pushing us to be better. I think the best thing about him is, he knows the talent that he has, and he puts us in the best opportunity to make these plays. And he's a great coach. He's a smart man.
One of the leaders of the nation's number 1 defense statistically, Shilique Calhoun of Michigan State, as the Spartans get ready for Nebraska. Joining us here on BTN Live, Dave Revsine, Chuck Long, and Gerry DiNardo.
Shilique, you've made some great plays, some big plays this year. What's the most difficult scheme that you have to deal with as a defensive end?
First, I just want to, touch on the topic of me making plays. I would say that's basically, from a standpoint of everyone else doing their job. It's not just me, it's everyone else being in their assigned gaps and doing what they need to do and allowing me to make these plays. I would say the most difficult is probably going to be Nebraska, where they run the power read and, all these different type of plays that you're unsure what's going to happen, and you just have to, you have to go with your instincts and just move with it. And I feel like it'll be a good task playing against them, and it'll help me, understand the game of football even more. But like I said, I just, I wanted to stop and thank everyone else, on the defense and the defensive coordinators also, because they put me in the right place to make these plays.
Shilique, you and defensive end Randy Gregory of Nebraska are right at the top of the Big Ten sack list. Do you guys know each other? Do you talk about that when you see each other?
I don't know. But I was watching, the Michigan versus Nebraska game, and I noticed that he was raking up a couple sacks. I kind of started thinking like, oh man, I feel like he's pretty close. I don't know about this anymore. So I didn't look it up or anything, but I knew that after that game he was pretty high, and I kind of thought he was above me. So I'll definitely have a couple words with him after the game, because he's a great player. I mean, just watching him on film, you can tell, and I can learn a lot of things from him. Even though we're not on the same teams, there's a lot of stuff that I would love to discuss with him, and maybe get a chance to understand how he does things. But yeah, I noticed that he was raking them up. He got a couple, he got 3 sacks in the Michigan game. I got 2.5, so I was counting.
Shilique, is Nebraska more complicated, more multiple than most teams that you've played?
Yes, I believe so. I think just because they have a lot of different players that do a lot of different things, and not only will they, disguise a lot of things, they'll put a lot of things right in front of you and just, try to go head up and, push you around. They don't. It's a lot of different, like, it's hard to explain, but there's a lot of different things that they do that, you can't see right away. It's things that you just have to react and, go off of what you've seen on film, because it's pretty tricky. There's the way they do things.
You personally haven't played at Nebraska, Shilique, but what have you heard about the environment there?
Oh, yeah. I haven't been to, Nebraska before, but, my teammates were telling me that they're the nicest folks you'll ever see. So, that might be a little bit of a challenge for me to, try to transform into that other guy. But, I'm pretty sure that my team be behind me, and they'll get me ready. The coaches in my team will have me ready, and I'll be focused and ready to go. But I have heard that they're one of the nicest fans you'll ever meet.
Well, Shilique, we look forward to watching the game on Saturday. Best of luck, and thanks for taking some time to join us here on BTN Live.
Thank you very much for having me.